this in America right now. Everyone.
I sure oppose.
There are two main objectives. One, because they can see the light that emanates from people, from the very cells in people's body, the true light. They can detect it with their great technologies. There are two main objectives. First and foremost, this is the objective they almost or always fail at. In fact, I've never seen them succeed, but maybe they do, I don't know. First objective, keep you from Christ. They just can't seem to do that one. Their secondary objective, when they fail at that, they move on to their secondary objective. And this one, unfortunately, from what I've seen, they almost always succeed at. And that is to keep you from being an effective warrior of Christ. They do it many different ways. Oppression is their main use. Lies is another. Distractions. Keep you busy enough trying to pay your motherfucking power bill. And scrounge for whatever nickels you fucking can. Just to get by in this world. When that don't work, they move to torment. And when that don't work, they fucking kill you. If they can. They have a hard time killing us. Because, well, let me put it this way. Worrying won't add one more moment to your life. And if God is for you, who can be against you?
Amen.
They can't kill us till our time is up. But what can they do? There's things worse than death. You know this. You've been through it. They've even tried to kill you.
Yep.
I can see by the look on your fucking face that you know every word I'm saying is true. Now, there's a 3-part weapon system that's about to be unleashed on this world, and in fact is being unleashed. See, first they tried to put this RFID chip into people in different countries. They tested it out. It had horrible side effects. Horrible. One of the immediate side effects was the lithium battery that powers it, although very small. Once your body rejects it and starts to consume it, releases lithium into your body, and you'll be covered with head to sores from, you'll be covered with ugly and malignant sores from the top of your head to your feet. There was other problems with it too. Human body just flat out rejects such a thing. So they found a way to alter your DNA to condition you to take it. Or so they think. They're in for a big surprise on that one, by the way. That scorpion sting is the first 6. Pay attention. The angel cries out, woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth. 3 woes, 3 sixes. That scorpion sting is the first 6. But it cannot affect those covered with the blood of Christ. I want you to know that. I'm not going to say it can't affect those that are covered in the blood of Christ. It actually has a very horrible fucking effect. But it cannot destroy those. God promises us in that passage after it. Well, that one kills motherfuckers, man. The thing holding in your hand is made from fossil fuels and precious metals. What are fossil fuels? See, a long time ago there was a worldwide flood that killed a bunch of Nephilim and evil shit. In fact, they were imprisoned in gloomy chains of darkness until the end time. What are these? What are fossil fuels? Well, there are huge, vast graves of what some would call life. I wouldn't. One is coal. Think of that as bones. It's physical. The other is oil. Think of that as blood. It is liquid indeed. And the other is natural gases. Think of that as spiritual. It is incorporeal indeed. The world don't need to run on these fucking things. We don't need this shit. You know, they can make more plastic from one field of hemp seed than they can from 1,000 times that of oil. The cars we use is 100-year-old technology. We don't need fucking oil. Not that kind of oil. In fact, it's not even really oil. Oils come from plants, not from death. The death of the evilest things. In the days of Noah, so will it be in our days. And the Nephilim were in those days. And afterwards, too. They digging them up. You ain't gonna find none of this fucking information on YouTube, by the way, or Google. In fact, that's their domain. That's their cities and lies are their native tongues. That is what you're holding in your fucking hand. The aborted cells from my generation. And other things, like Luciferese that come from flies. Don't forget Beelzebub is the lord of flies. Luciferese is derived from fireflies. The patent number of that sting is 666. You know all these things, everybody does.
Yep.
Because people reveal these things to people, they don't like it either. The next part of this weapon, the second woe. See, for the last 6 months, they have nobody in the world, nobody, car manufacturers, computer manufacturers, phone manufacturers, you name it, none of them have been able to get microchips. All the microchip producing companies have been working real hard. And nobody knows why. But motherfuckers like me, we see through stone and brick and wood and time and distance. You can't hide. And I know why. See, there's almost 7 billion people on the planet or whatever. That's an awfully lot of motherfucking microchips. It wasn't until August that car manufacturers were able to get microchips. Late August, by the way, right before my daughter's birthday. Cars are required to have microchips in them now. They made them all. The so-called vax conditions your body to accept this RFID chip type thing, which is far more advanced than the RFID chip. Keep in mind, the stealth bomber wasn't revealed for how long, and everybody knows about the RFID chip, and lies are their native tongue. They ain't giving you the whole fucking story, G. But this type of, I guess you could call it microchip, it's not really that. It's the second woe, the second part of their weapon. me it's torture. Never turn it off, never rest. Never turn it off, never rest. And then this humming. A million voices. None of them your own. These motherfuckers can't wipe their ass unless they're told to. And they know the plans of the enemy now, but they're hopeless. All they can do is sit in their cell, their prison, their body, and watch as the army of the beast rapes them in and out and uses them to destroy all that is good and all that they love and all that they have. And all they can do is listen to the hideous laughter as they watch the next 2 6s come. Yeah, you damn right they beg for death. But they cannot find. If they could, they would jump off a building. If they could, they would saw their fucking head off with a hacksaw. But they can't. If they could, they would cry out to the Lord, but they can't. They're forced to do atrocities. Did you see the statue of Christ the Redeemer in Rio de Janeiro? When they painted vaccine saves across it and the great fires, those people didn't want to do that. Gang stalking. You have no idea how deep it goes. People talk about drones and robots, and that's just a mockery. What, you think that weak-ass tech is all they got? No. The people are the drones. The people are the robots. In Babylon, once upon a time, the king was able to cause or force people to worship an image of him. They had no choice. There was some covered in the blood of the Lamb that was able to resist. There are those covered in the blood of the Lamb that even the enemy's great sorceries cannot touch. The third sixth. Let me ask you, do you know that 5G is a weapon? It's a military-grade weapon.
Yep.
That was very similar to what you were talking about. In the Gulf War, whole armies would walk up to American soldiers and throw their guns on the ground and tell them that Allah had told them to surrender. And the American military laughed and bragged about having a weapon they called the voice of God. When asked to rebuild a weapon, they did. There was a 5G radio frequency. But Stealth Bomber wasn't rebuilt for how long? And these motherfuckers love sixes. Beware of 6G. The third woe. The temple in Israel with the dome of the rock sitting on top, you're familiar?
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about?
I believe so.